11 goal for us is to figure out how to get all this stuff implemented, and how to explain it to our foremen, how to make them understand it. Because I can tell you one thing that happens all the time is when you look at these individually, you can make sense of them. But some of these things directly conflict with each other in reality. You can talk about the English proficiency, for instance, and you can talk about production. But on the job, Tommy, you're a good one to ask. You're sending in 10 guys a week right now. If you're looking at getting guys you're going to send in, and you've got a guy who is more proficient in English, but you got another guy that maybe speaks English, but way more productive, which one are you going to send in first? Chances are the proficient guy that's less productive, right? So that directly conflicts with our English-speaking goals, that we're trying to get that production going. So how do you balance those things? Because they do.
We're creating a culture here, and maybe it isn't going to be perfect starting out, but our goal is to get it to that. So by hiring trainees that don't speak English, by doing all the attainable goals that we're working at, we're working at eliminating that problem. Right?
Well, would it be reasonable?
And I think we're doing more than any other company in this country, probably, right now. To change the culture that we have right now.
There comes a point you have to decide
it's amazing to me that we're all in here doing this. I mean, it really is.
Tommy, let me ask you a question that Randy asked. If you got two guys, one can hang 50 sheets, another one can hang 100 sheets. But the 100, speaks more English, and the 50, he can write his book. That's one, but the other thing is, one does 50, the other one does 55, but you still have the same problem. When it comes to places where they are somewhere like that, I would take the communication, because that's part of, production. If you can communicate with somebody, hopefully you can do that's what all have to do. When you can communicate with somebody, would that also provide an add to efficiency?
Just like safety. The other hangs on a board, ignores your safety policy, you got to call them that. Language, skill, that's what we evaluate. My guess is if you bet on the 100 board guy, if he works safe and say, hey, I like your work, but I need you to improve. And he believes it if you walk the talk. If you say, hey, I don't want to mess with him, he's a good worker, and you keep him around, then you can kiss our goals goodbye. It won't happen. Maybe some tough decisions
right there. When everybody that works here knows that these are our committed goals, and we will back up these goals, then they'll start to understand. If I'm average, I may not be here when it gets low. If I'm good but don't speak English, I may not be here when it gets low. But unless we do that, they're not going to believe that.
Well, you flesh these out in the next supervisor's meeting, you say, hey, here's our plan. And you come into a neighborhood near you, and everybody understands that. And then we got to do it. We've been talking about this for 3.5 years and have had, honestly, multiple opportunities to implement solutions like this, but either haven't or have implemented them and then not done them. And that's a huge, trashing of our credibility when we say we're going to do something that we don't do. And this is a perfect time for us to have high expectations of our work. Perfect time. And we got their attention. But I think you roll it out once you define some of what Jim's asked, and question, answer them, and say, here's what we're willing to stake out. Let's stake it out there if you're not going to do it. And then tell everyone up in a meeting, hey, we're talking about improving the workforce through workforce development, lots of things. And here's the program.
Well, I think that when you do that, individuals will say, darn, I better get to work. If I can't do that, or if I can't do this, I better do something, or I'm not going to be here. But until you put it out, you got to make sure you're right when you do it, or you exactly get all committed to it. But when you put it out there, everybody gets the message pretty quick. You got to walk the walk, talk the talk.